Hi Year 3. Well, I'm just getting set for our lesson today. I'm going to pass over to Mr Preston for your maths starter. Enjoy, see you in a few minutes.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you a quick and fun maths game that you can play at home with your family that will help you practice adding three one-digit numbers together. It's a form of noughts and crosses, but instead of using crosses and circles, you use the one-digit numbers from 0 to 9, as you can see I've put them down the side here. You make your noughts and crosses grid, as usual, but instead of putting a cross or a circle, you choose one of the numbers. You can only use them once, so you've got to cross them off as you do it. And the winner is the first person to get 3 of their numbers in a row, but the total must be 10. Now, I'd love to show you today how it works, but I'm here on my own and I haven't got anyone with me who could actually play the game with me, so you're going to have a little go yourself. So good luck as... what are you doing here? You've come to play the maths game. But I thought you were a phonics giraffe. You're going to have a go at the maths game. Alright, but you're going to be sensible about it. Alright, well luckily it looks like I have got someone to play with, so let's have a little go. But I hope there's going to be no shenanigans. If any of you know, this giraffe can be a little bit mischievous. Right, okay, so you've got the pen, so you can go first. Alright, off we go. Where's the pen gone? Here you go, here's another one. Right, let's try again. And off we go. Right, that's your last warning. Here we go. You start with orange. Just for that, I'm going to start instead. Those can be your numbers, and these can be mine. Right, I'm going to get started then. And I'm going to choose off my side. I think I'm going to start with the number 5. I'm going to put it right in the middle. Okay? Right, where would you like to go? These are your numbers over here, look. You're going to go for number 4. Alright, good choice. Now, you've blocked me going up there, so I'm going to choose another number now. I think I'm going to use my number 3. And I'm going to put it down in this corner. Can you see where I'm trying to go? Right, let's see if she spots it. Oh, you clever giraffe. You've spotted where I was going to go, haven't you? Alright, and she's used number 3 there, so I'm not going to go there. Where else could I go then? I might try and go across here. So I'm going to use my, I think I'm going to use my number 6. There we go. Alright. There we go. Oh no! I've left a gap. Let's see. Oh, you think you've won? You're going to put your number there. What's the problem? Oh, hang on, let's add them together. 3 and 4 make 7, so what do you need to reach 10? 3. What's the problem then? Oh, you silly giraffe, you've used your number 3 already. Less of that. Have another pen. Don't be a sore loser. You still haven't lost yet. You might get a chance. What other numbers can you use? You're going to put a 2 there, okay. Right, what total have you got? 4, 5, 6, 7. Add 2 more, makes 9. Bad luck. My turn again. Right, hang on, what have I got here? 6, add 3, 6, 7, 8, that's 9. 9 and 1, that goes together to make 10, so I can put my 1 there, and I've got a line making a total of 10. Good game, well done. Oh, you are a sore loser. Hope your family members are better sports. Have fun.
Right then, Year 3. Today we're going to be doing the expanded column method for addition. So you're going to need to go and get a pencil, a piece of paper and a ruler. Go and get those now for me. Right then, it's going to be my turn now. So I can see my number sentence. It says 254 add 325. Now these could be 254 trees and 325 seeds, and I need to know the total of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to partition my numbers, because I want to know what each number is showing. So in my 3-digit number, I have 254. So I'm actually going to put my hundreds, tens and ones to remind myself what each digit means. So I'm going to choose different colours. I'm going to do hundreds, I'm going to do purple for my tens, and I'm going to do red for my ones. Right, I'm going to do the same to this number, 325. when I say the number aloud, I can actually hear how many hundreds, tens and ones are in each number. Right, let's add it again. Got my hundreds, tens and ones. Now some of you might be looking at this question thinking, Miss Cole, we can do this one in our head. Now sometimes you can do them in your head, but it's important that we know the method so that if we come across a question that we don't know how to solve mentally, we have a method to use to help us. Okay, so I've identified in each number how many hundreds, tens and ones they have. If I'm not sure, I could cut out or make some deans. So you'll remember seeing you've got deans here. So we've got our hundreds, we use these for our tens, and we've got these for our ones. If you like the deans, you can use them, you can make some at home, or you could make yourself some number counters. So here I have a 100 counter, which represents 100. Here I've got a counter which represents 1, and my yellow ones, what do you think they represent? That's right, they represent 10. So if you want to have a go at using some resources to help yourself, you could make these, okay? So back to my question. Now, when we're writing out our method, it's important that we set our work out really clearly because that will really help us. So what I like to do is I always put my hundreds, tens and ones, and I space it out so I've got enough space for each number that I'm writing. I'm going to use my colours to show you. So I'm going to start over here, and I can see my hundreds I did in green. So I'm going to put hundreds here. I'm then going to leave 3 spaces because I'm using squared paper. And I'm going to put my tens here, so I know where my tens go. And again, I'm going to leave 3 spaces and put my ones over here. Right, the next part, I need to partition my first number, 254. So I'm going to partition it carefully. I can see that I have 2 in my hundreds column. That means I have 2 hundreds. So I'm going to put that down here, 200. I'm going to go back at my number, and I can see I've got 5 here in my tens column. Right, does that mean I just write a 5 here? No, because it's 5 tens. I would have 5 tens, 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens. So altogether I have 50. So I'm going to put 50 down here in my purple to remind myself. 50. And over here I have my 4. So I'm going to put my 4 ones over to the side here. So the first thing, I partitioned my first number. So the next thing, I'm going to partition my second number, which is 325. Okay, I'll do this now. Right then, year 3. I partitioned my second number, 325. I've added my addition symbol, and I've done my long sort of equal sign and put my equal sign here as well. So now I need to add my numbers together. Now there's an important rule here that you need to remember. I must always start at the right hand side, and that'll become clearer especially later, okay? So first of all we're going to have our ones. We've got 4 and 5. I know 4 and 5 makes 9, so I'm going to put 9 in the same column in my ones. This is why it's called column addition, because we're writing them in columns. Then I've got my tens. Now I'm going to use Mr Preston's method from last week to help me. Well, I know 5 add 2 is 7, so I must know 50 add 20 is going to be 70. So I can put 70 down here as well. Then down here, 200 add 300, we know is 500. So it's important that we're putting it carefully in our columns and we're setting our work out really neatly. So I've partitioned, I've added my ones, tens and hundreds, and now what I need to do, I need to recombine my number together. So I've got 500, 70 and 9, which altogether makes 579. So I can write that one as my answer up here. 579. Right, you will notice on this question, it doesn't cross over to a next 10 or 100. My ones make a number which is smaller than 10, so it can stay in the ones column. My tens add together to make a number smaller than 100, so they can stay in my tens column. My hundreds add together to make a number smaller than 1,000, so they stay in the hundreds column. Let's look at the next one that we're going to do, and then see if we notice something else happening, okay? There's going to be a little bit of a crossover, so you need to watch carefully, because crossing over would definitely be a Chili 2 question. Right then, year 3. Just like a Blue Peter moment, I've already written the next question out ready for us. So it reads, can you read it with me? 468 add 126. So you'll notice that I've already partitioned our numbers into hundreds, tens and ones. So we're going to add it together now. When we're adding, where do we always start? That's right, the right hand side. It's really important. You're going to see why. So we've got 8 and we've got 6. So I've got 8 in my hand and we've got 6. And all together that makes 14. Brilliant. Now, we're not going to write 14 here, and that's because we're looking at the ones. So to make the number 14, you have 1 10 and 4 ones. So we're going to write it carefully. This bit you need to be watching for. So I'm going to put my 4 here, and this 10 stick can't stay over here. It's going to come into the tens column, but it's not going to go through my equal sign, it's going to go underneath. So I'm going to put 10 down here. So you can see 10 and 4 make 14, which is where you got your answer from 8 and 6. Okay, next part. This time we're going to go to our tens. We can see we've got 60 add 20. 60 add 20 is 80. Well done. We're not going to write 80 here because from our ones we had a 10 that crossed over. So we're going to add that 10 as well. So 80 add another 10 is 90. Brilliant. We'll write that here. Okay, next part, our hundreds. 400 add 100 is 500. Excellent. Let me get my green. Now we have added, we need to recombine and put our number back together again. So we have 500, 90 and 4, which makes 594. So we can put our answer up here by our question. With this question then, we say that the number has crossed over. This has crossed over into the tens column. Okay, I'm going to set you a question now, which is very similar to this. All right, I'm going to write it out and we'll pause the video in a minute for you to have a go yourself. Right then, year 3, this is a question for your turn. It says, let's say it together, 224 add 139. I'd like you to have a go on your piece of paper to show your column method. In a minute, we'll go through it together so you can check your work. All right, pause the video now, off you go. Right then, year 3, let's check to see how you got on. So, hopefully you partitioned it, 220 and 4, 224, and 139 into 130 and 9. Right, here comes the tricky part. Let me get my red pen. Which side do we start at? The right hand side, well done. 4 add 9, what's 4 add 9? 13, excellent. Now, do we write 13 down here? No, we need to cross over because 13 is made up of 1 10 and 3 ones. So we're going to put our ones here, our 3 ones, and we're going to put our 10, that's right, in our tens column. So we put it under our big long equal sign, not in, okay, because it's not our final answer. I'm going to put our 10 here. Excellent. Right then, what did you have in your tens column? 20, add 30 is 50. Did you remember to add your 10 down here? Brilliant, 60. 60 in our tens column. Let me get my purple. 60. And then how many hundreds did we have all together? 200 and 100 makes 300. Excellent, right. There's my green. Getting muddled with my pens, year 3. 300. Perfect. Can you see how we've had to cross over into our tens column? Right. Our next one. This time we're going to do a question where we cross over into our hundreds column. You ready? Right then, year 3. This is going to be our question where we cross over into our hundreds. So let's read it together, make it a bit of an our turn. 384 add 243. So it might be that I have 384 plants at the garden centre and they buy some more in, they buy 243 more plants in, we need to find out the total for them. Okay, so we're going to start working together now on the hour turn. So we've partitioned our numbers, I think you're going to be confident with that. So let's have a go. I'm going to get my green pen first. Should we start over here? 300 add 200 is 500. Should we write that here? No, because this is starting at the left-hand side and we know we must start at the right-hand side. And it'll become clear in a minute as to why. So we have our 4 and our 3 is 7, well done. We have 80 add 40. Now if we're struggling to solve that, we could think about Mr Preston's method that he taught us last week. We know 8 add 4. 8 add 4 is 12, so 80 add 40 is 10 times bigger, it's 120. Now if I've got my 100 here, and I've got my 20 as well, 120, I can't write 120 here, can I? Why not? That's right, because hundreds don't belong in the tens column. So we're going to need to cross over into our hundreds. So we're going to leave our 20 here. Okay, our 2 tens. But we're going to take this 100 from here, I'm going to move it over. We're going to put it underneath to remind ourselves that we need to add it. So we put our 100 over here. So 80 add 40 makes 120. Right, our last thing to do is add our hundreds up. We've got 300 add 200, which is 500, yeah. But we mustn't forget our extra 100 down here. So altogether we have 600. Let's put that in our hundreds column. Right. We've added them together, we've solved them, we've got our answers. What do we need to do? We need to recombine them. 600, 20 and 7. Read 627. Let's write our answer up here. 627. Can you see now why we can't start at the left-hand side? Because when we first did it, we thought we were going to put a 500 here, but because we had to cross over, it was actually 600. Okay, so it's important to start at the right-hand side. Right then guys, before I send you off on your chili challenges, let's go through our steps to success. First one, partition. What does each digit show you? Next one, hundreds, tens and ones, and I put my colours there just to remind you, okay, to set it out carefully. Add your columns, start on the right, and I put a little star over here to remind us we must start on the right hand side when we're adding. Do you need to cross over? You need to think, is the number that I made more than 10 if I'm counting my ones? Is my number bigger than 100 if I'm counting my tens and adding my tens together? You might need to cross over, have a think. Then finally, recombine and answer, okay? Right, let's go through our chili challenges. Right then, year 3, if you think you're a chili 1 worker today, these are your 3 questions that I'd like you to have a go at solving. Now with these questions, they don't cross over into the tens or the hundreds, but I want you to think about your careful adding and setting your work out. When you've had a go at answering your questions, we're going to have a look at this one here. It says, can you write a word problem for one of your questions? Okay, so you need to put it into a word problem. Right, if you think you're chili 1, pause the video now. Right then, chili 2 today. Your questions are either going to cross over on the tens or they're going to cross over into the hundreds, so you need to work out carefully. So you have 4 questions to have a go at, and then I've got this question down here, and I've said, what mistake have I made? So you're going to need to look through and mark my work for me carefully. Pause the video now if you think you're chili 2. Right then, this is going to be a chili 3 question, because in a minute I'll show you your questions for you to work through independently for your turn. So we have our question 473 add 289. Now if you're a chili 3 worker today, we're going to be crossing the tens and crossing into the hundreds, okay? So we need to make sure that we are confident. So again, I've written the question out. We're going to start at the right hand side. 3 add 9 is 12. So we partition 12 into 10 and 2. We put our 2 here and our 10 underneath, okay? Like we did in the previous questions. Now over here we've got 70 and 80. What's 70 and 80? That's right, 150. Now we've also got one more, so we've got this 10 down here to make 160. So we're going to separate and partition our 160 into 160. We leave our 60 here, and our 100 goes into our hundreds column down here. Then we add our hundreds together. 400 add 200 is 600, add 100 is 700. So if you're chili 3 today, you can see that we haven't just crossed into the tens, we've also crossed into the hundreds as well. So you need to make sure you check your questions really carefully. Let's have a look at them. Right then, chili 3, these are your questions here. You have 4 to work through. Now, you'll notice that you've got an extension down here that says, how could you solve this? 327 add something equals 853. I'd like you to use your column method to see if you can work out the missing number. Check back in a few minutes and we'll go through the answers together. Right, Chilli 1, there's your answers. I want you to mark your work. See how you got on. Chilli 2, these are your answers. Can you mark them to check how you've got on? Chilli 3, can you mark your work? You'll notice your fourth question went into the thousands. I wonder how you solved the final question. Did you use your column addition? Right then, Year 3, before we go, I do have some things to celebrate with you. So we notice who's been going on to My Maths and TT Rockstars. But when I last went on for TT Rockstars, the people with the most coins were Lillian, well done, Cohen and Izzy C, so well done to those 3 children. One thing I was really impressed with, improving accuracy goes to Molly and improving speed goes to Erin. Well done guys, keep it up and we look forward to seeing who next week will be top of our TT Rockstars.